Imagine walking through a dense African jungle. The air is thick, every leaf whispers secrets, and suddenly you hear it. A deep chest beat, then silence. Moments later, a rustle in the leaves. Golden eyes glint from the shadows. That's not Tarzan. That's a leopard, staring straight at a gorilla troop. Now, you'd think this would be a quick fight. Muscles versus murder mittens, right? But here's where it gets strange. These two have been playing mind games with each other for thousands of years. Welcome to Gorilla versus Leopard, brains versus stealth in the jungle, where power meets patience, and every tree could be a battlefield. Now, gorillas and leopards actually share the same neighborhoods, the humid forests of Central Africa. It's kind of like two very different roommates living in one small apartment. One, the gorilla, is the gym bro of the forest. Massive chest, plant-based diet, hangs out with family, and doesn't really like drama. The other, the leopard, is that quiet neighbor who never says hi, wears all black, and nobody ever sees bringing groceries home, yet somehow survives just fine. Despite living side by side, these two rarely clash. Why? Because both are too smart to risk it. But when they do cross paths, oh boy, it's a full-on psychological thriller. Okay, grab your snacks, because what you're about to learn will mess with everything you thought you knew about survival of the fittest. Before we jump in, hit that subscribe button, not just for the algorithm, but because by the end of this video, you'll have serious bragging rights. Next time someone at a party says, "Who'd win, a gorilla or a leopard?" you'll be the one dropping facts like a wildlife expert. Alright, let's meet our first contender, the jungle's gentle giant. Let's start with the gorilla, the forest's muscle with a philosopher's heart. They look terrifying. 400 pounds of pure strength, hands big enough to crush coconuts, and biceps that could bench press a motorcycle. But here's the plot twist. Gorillas hate fighting. They prefer eye contact, posture, and warning beats on their chest. Basically, ancient forest Wi-Fi. It's their way of saying, "Bro, don't make me stand up." Silverbacks, the dominant males, lead family groups called troops, keeping everyone safe and peaceful. They solve problems. They babysit. They literally mediate family arguments. And get this, they've been seen using tools, recognizing themselves in mirrors, and even mourning their dead. So yeah, not just muscle, we're talking emotional intelligence. But that empathy, it might just be their biggest weakness. Now, enter the leopard, the jungle's ultimate introvert assassin. If Batman was an animal, it'd be this guy. Silent, muscular, patient, and terrifyingly efficient. Leopards don't chase, they wait. They can stay still for hours, blending perfectly into the foliage, calculating every move. They can leap 20 feet, carry prey heavier than themselves up a tree, and vanish before you can even scream, Nat Geo. While the gorilla relies on strength and teamwork, the leopard's secret weapon is stealth and timing. You see, the gorilla owns the day. But once the sun goes down, the forest belongs to the leopard. So what happens when daylight and darkness meet? There's a legend whispered among African trackers that sometimes, when a leopard gets desperate, it dares to enter gorilla territory. Imagine that scene. A silent predator slipping through vines at night, eyes glowing, hunting not for antelope, but for a baby gorilla. Yes, it happens, rarely but brutally. Leopards have been recorded taking infants from the edges of gorilla troops. But here's where the story turns savage. If a silverback catches the scent or hears even one rustle, it's game over. There's a recorded encounter from Gabon. A leopard tried sneaking close to a troop. The silverback roared, charged, and ripped a branch thicker than your arm clean off a tree. The leopard vanished in seconds, never to return. Moral of the story? You don't mess with a dad who has a 500-pound bench press. But the leopard never forgets a loss. Most of the time, these two species avoid each other through strategy. Gorillas are diurnal. They move in daylight, eat, play, nap, repeat. Leopards are nocturnal, night crawlers, prowling silently under moonlight. They have basically created a timeshare system in the jungle. It's nature's version of, you take the day shift, I'll take the night shift. But sometimes, their schedules overlap. Dawn, dusk, twilight hours. And that's when psychological warfare begins. Gorillas communicate with loud vocalizations and body language. Leopards, on the other hand, use silence. They rely on fear, on being unseen. When a leopard stalks too close, the troop goes on high alert. Every rustle becomes suspicious. Every shadow becomes a threat. And yet, the leopard rarely attacks. Why? Because even for a killer like that, a full-grown silverback is a nightmare opponent. So if they almost never fight, who's really the king of the jungle? Here's where it gets wild. You'd think the gorilla wins every time, right? Big muscles, big heart, big presence. But evolution doesn't work that way. The gorilla survived by cooperation, community, protection, empathy. The leopard survived by adaptation, cunning, stealth, precision. Both are masters of their own battlefield. But here's the twist. Despite being smaller, the leopard actually holds more territorial control than gorillas. They live in more places, from mountains to cities, jungles to deserts. Why? Because stealth is universal. Strength isn't. Gorillas can't just move into new areas. They need forests, fruits, family groups. Leopards? They'll live under your porch if it helps them survive. And while gorillas are endangered, leopards are thriving. In nature's long game, brains and stealth quietly outlast brute strength. But even then, the jungle has one more surprise. When you look closer, this isn't just about animals. It's a reflection of us, humans. Think about it. Some people are like gorillas, loyal, family-driven, strong in community. Others are like leopards, lone wolves, calculated, moving in silence. And just like in the wild, both types survive. But when they collide, that's when evolution writes a story worth watching. So, next time you face a problem, ask yourself, am I solving this like a gorilla or stalking it like a leopard? Okay, but seriously, if you were in the jungle, which would you rather be? And that's the wild truth. Brains versus stealth. Muscle versus mystery. The gentle giant versus the silent killer. Tell me in the comments. Team gorilla or team leopard? Who's the real king of the jungle? And hey, if you love this one, the next episode's even crazier. Crocodile versus hippo, the river's true king. Because in the wild, the drama never ends. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the BejayvirgoTV jungle.